Cade Cavalli threw the strikeout gem of the day as Washington blanked Texas, but power was on display all over the majors this August 19th. The Pittsburgh Pirates topped the Detroit Tigers 4-3 in a game punctuated by power. Rafael Flores Jr. put on a show with a two-homer day, going deep twice to power the Pirates' offense, a performance that stands out as one of the best fantasy lines of the day anywhere in the majors. Brandon Lowe also went yard for Pittsburgh, giving the Bucs 3 combined homers to offset Detroit's 3 runs. Wendell Cruz chipped in with a stolen base and a hit, staying disruptive on the bases, while Jacob Gonzalez, Brian Reynolds, and Nick Gonzalez all reached base with hits of their own to keep pressure on Detroit's pitching. On the mound, Mason Montgomery worked a scoreless inning with 2 strikeouts to pick up the win out of the bullpen. Detroit got production from Zach McKinstry, Howie Lee, Kevin McGonigal, Gleyber Torres, Max Clark, and Colt Keith, who all recorded hits, but the Tigers couldn't out-homer a Pirates lineup that got exactly enough thump to hold on. Final score, Pittsburgh 4, Detroit 3, with Flores Jr. 2-homer game the headline for fantasy managers scanning the box score. New York Mets held off the San Diego Padres 4-2 behind a well-rounded offensive effort and a shutdown bullpen finish. Carson Bench provided the big blow with a home run, and A.J. Ewing added a stolen base while also collecting a hit, giving the Mets a spark on the bases. Francisco Lindor, Marcus Semien, and Jared Young all had hits to support the attack. On the mound, Nate Lavender tossed a scoreless inning with 2 strikeouts to earn the win, and closer Cade Senga slammed the door with a clean save to seal it. San Diego got hits from Luis Rengifo, Gavin Sheets, Fernando Tatis Jr., Ty France, and Xander Bogaerts, but the Padres couldn't string together enough offense to overcome New York's homer. It was a solid, unspectacular win for the Mets. No fireworks beyond Bench's homer, but efficient baseball that got the job done against a tough Padres club. Final, Mets 4, Padres 2. The Minnesota Twins outlasted the Atlanta Braves 6-4, and the story of the game was Kalen Culpepper's monster day at the plate. Culpepper went 3 for 4, and that performance extended his hitting streak to 7 straight games, one of the hottest active streaks in the sport right now, and a name fantasy managers should be watching closely. Royce Lewis added a stolen base for Minnesota, while Cody Clemens, Brooks Lee, Josh Bell, and Luke Keeschall also picked up hits to fuel the offense. Minter worked 2/3 of an inning scoreless to notch the win, and Yondris Gomez slammed the door with a clean save. Atlanta got a stolen base from Matt Olson and hits from Michael Harris, Roman II, Mauricio Dubin, Olson, Ronald Acuna Jr., Ozzie Albies, Mike Yastrzemski, and Lane Thomas, but it wasn't enough to overcome Minnesota's balanced attack. Final score, Minnesota 6, Atlanta 4, with Culpepper standing out as one of the league's most consistent hitters right now. Jose Urquidy was dominant on the mound as the Chicago White Sox blanked the crosstown Chicago Cubs 3-0. Urquidy struck out 8 over 6 shutout innings to earn the win, and Grant Taylor finished the job with a clean save to preserve the shutout. Offensively, Randall Grichuk, Chase Maydroth, Carlson Montgomery, Braden Montgomery, Jake Rogers, Andrew Benintendi, and Miguel Vargas all collected hits to back their starter, spreading out just enough offense to plate 3 runs. The Cubs, meanwhile, were held almost completely off the board. Tyrone Taylor was the only Chicago hitter with a hit all game, as Urquidy and the White Sox bullpen kept a lineup that includes Ian Happ, Alex Bregman, Michael Busch, and Pete Crow Armstrong in check from start to finish. It was a dominant pitching performance and a clean, professional win for the Southsiders in the crosstown series. Final, White Sox 3, Cubs 0. The Arizona Diamondbacks outlasted the Boston Red Sox in a slugfest, winning 7-6 in a game that saw 4 home runs. Boston got a trio of solo shots from Mickey Gasper, Nick Sogard, and Jarren Duran, while Arizona countered with a home run from Lars Nootbaar. Diamondbacks starter Brandon Pfaadt was excellent on the mound, striking out 8 over 5.2 innings, and Jonathan Loaisiga worked 2 scoreless innings out of the bullpen to pick up the win. Ryan Waldschmidt added a stolen base for Arizona. Boston's offense got extra hits from Wilson Contreras, Connor Wong, and Will-Ire Abreu, while Arizona also got production from Nolan Arenado, Waldschmidt, Ildemaro Vargas, Jose Fernandez, Gabriel Morneau, and Corbin Carroll. Despite 3 homers and a strong lineup effort, Boston couldn't hold the lead, falling in a back-and-forth affair that came down to the final outs. Final score, Arizona 7, Boston 6. Aaron Nola was brilliant on the mound as the Philadelphia Phillies beat the Miami Marlins 4-1. Nola struck out 8 over 7 innings, allowing just one earned run to pick up the win, and closer Joan Duran locked it down with a clean save. Luis Ariz went deep for Philadelphia, and that home run came as part of a hitting streak that has now reached 7 straight games for the veteran. Brandon Marsh, Justin Crawford, Bryce Harper, Garrett Stubbs and Trea Turner also had hits for the Phillies. Notably, 2 other Phillies saw personal streaks end in this very game. Bryson Stott's 10-game hitting streak and Alec Boehm's 8-game hitting streak both came to a close, even as the team picked up the win. For Miami, Javier Sanoja was terrific, going 3 for 3 with a home run and RBI in a standout showing that came in a losing effort. Heriberto Hernandez, Xavier Edwards and Otto Lopez also had hits for the Marlins. Nola's gem and Ariz's power kept Philadelphia rolling. Final, Phillies 4, Marlins 1. New York Yankees edged the Baltimore Orioles 5-3 at a game with plenty of long balls. Van Rice went deep for New York, while Baltimore countered with home runs from Dylan Beavers and Pete Alonso. On the bases, Gunnar Henderson and Jackson Holliday both stole bags for Baltimore, and Jazz Kishom Jr. swiped one for New York. Brent Hedrick worked a scoreless inning to earn the win in relief, and David Bednar closed it out with a save. Baltimore got hits from Samuel Basallo, Gunnar Henderson, Leody Taveras, Dylan Beavers, and Pete Alonso, while New York's Heliot Ramos, Spencer Jones, Ryan McMahon, Ben Rice, Jazz Kishom Jr., Trent Grisham, George Lombard Jr., and Luis Garcia Jr. all reached base safely. It was a competitive, power-driven affair between division rivals, with New York's bullpen ultimately proving the difference. Final score, Yankees 5, Orioles 3. In one of the tightest games of the day, the San Francisco Giants edged the Cleveland Guardians 1-0 in a pitcher's duel. Cleveland's Parker Messick was outstanding, striking out 10 over 6.2 innings, but it was San Francisco's Adrian Houser who got the win, tossing 5 shutout innings with 3 strikeouts, and Dylan Smith slammed the door with a 2-inning save. Willie Adams led the Giants' offense going 3 for 4, a standout multi-hit performance in an otherwise low-scoring affair. Yun Hoo Lee, Rafael Devers, and Victor Bercotto also had hits for San Francisco. Cleveland's Angel Martinez stole a base and had a hit, and Angel Janau, Austin Hedges, and Travis Bizana also reached base, but Cleveland simply couldn't push a run across despite Messick's dominant strikeout total. A game defined by pitching depth on both sides ended with the Giants stealing a road win by the smallest possible margin. Final, Giants 1, Guardians 0. The Cincinnati Reds edged the St. Louis Cardinals 5-4 in a game loaded with individual highlights. Sal Stewart homered for Cincinnati, and Jordan Walker went deep for St. Louis. Matt McLain had a huge day for the Reds, going 3 for 3 with a stolen base, while St. Louis's Joshua Baez swiped 2 bags himself, a 2-steal game that stands out as one of the best speed performances anywhere in baseball today. Both starters were excellent. Without a decision, Chase Burns struck out 8 over 5 innings for Cincinnati, and Matthew Liberator matched him with 9 strikeouts over 6 for St. Louis. Sam Moll picked up the win in relief for the Reds, and Emilio Pagan closed it out with a save. Louis got hits from Jordan Walker, Brian Torres, Nathan Church, Jose Furman, J.J. Weatherholt, Blaze Jordan, and Joshua Baez, but it wasn't enough to overcome Cincinnati's late push. Final score, Reds 5, Cardinals 4. The Tampa Bay Rays outlasted the Toronto Blue Jays 7-6 in a back-and-forth affair. Yandy Diaz homered for the Rays, while Toronto's Alejandro Kirk went deep for the Blue Jays. Charles McAdoo was the offensive star for Toronto, going 3 for 4 with 2 RBI and adding a stolen base, but it wasn't enough to overcome Tampa Bay. Taylor Walls also stole a base for the Rays. Drew Rasmussen worked 5 innings and allowed 5 earned runs but still came away with the win, and Brian Baker closed things out with a save. Tampa Bay got extra hits from Richie Palacios, Chandler Simpson, Johnny DeLuca, Liam Hicks, and Junior Caminero, while Toronto also got production from Brandon Valenzuela, Josh Smith, Daz Cameron, and Kazuma Okamoto. It was a wild, high-scoring game that came down to the final outs, with the Rays bullpen doing just enough to hold on. Final, Rays 7, Blue Jays 6. The Kansas City Royals slugged their way past the Athletics 9-7 in a high-scoring affair. Vinny Pasquantino was the offensive star, going 3 for 4 with 2 RBI and a home run, powering the Royals' attack. Max Muncy answered with a home run for Oakland. Zach Geloff added a stolen base for the Athletics. Closer Craig Kimbrell came in and worked a scoreless inning with a strikeout, picking up the win rather than a save in an unusual bullpen sequence. Kansas City got hits all over the lineup from Carter Jensen, Tyler Talbert, Salvador Perez, John Rave, Pasquantino, Kyle Isbell, Miguel Garcia, and Jack Caglianon. The Athletics countered with hits from Lawrence Butler, Donovan Walton, Geloff, Jeff McNeil, Muncy, and Henry Bolt, but couldn't keep pace with a Royals offense that had an answer every time Oakland threatened. Final score, Royals 9, Athletics 7. Seattle Mariners topped the Milwaukee Brewers 7-5 in a game full of multi-hit performances. Josh Naylor went 3 for 5 with 2 RBI for Seattle, and Jackson Chourio matched him at 3 for 5 for Milwaukee, though it wasn't enough to overcome the Mariners. Joey Ortiz homered for the Brewers. On the bases, Chourio and Bryce Turang both stole bags for Milwaukee, while Naylor added a steal of his own for Seattle. Logan Gilbert worked 5 innings, allowing 3 earned runs with 5 strikeouts to pick up the win, and Andres Munoz closed it out with a save. Milwaukee also got hits from Christian Yelich, Andrew Vaughn, and Luis Lara, while Seattle's Randy Arozarena, Taylor Ward, Dominic Canzone, and Brock Rodden all reached base. It was an entertaining, offense-heavy contest that Seattle controlled behind its bullpen down the stretch. Final, Mariners 7, Brewers 5. Cade Cavalli delivered the most dominant pitching performance of the day, striking out 11 batters over 6 shutout innings as the Washington Nationals blanked the Texas Rangers 6-0. Cavalli's 11 strikeouts led all pitchers across the entire slate, and he didn't allow a single earned run while picking up the win. Washington backed him with power, getting home runs from Andres Chaparro and Jose Tina. Chaparro was the offensive star of the game, going 3 for 4 with 3 RBI to go with his homer. C.J. Abrams, Abin Lech, Ortiz, Jacob Young, and Keibert Ruiz also collected hits for the Nationals. Texas managed hits only from Evan Carter, Corey Seager, and Elias Diaz, as the rest of the Rangers lineup, including Wyatt Langford and Brandon Nimmo, was shut down completely. It was a complete, wire-to-wire performance for Washington, dominant on the mound and productive at the plate, capped by a shutout that never felt in doubt. Final score, Washington 6, Texas 0, with Cavalli's 11 strikeout gem the standout individual performance of the entire day around the majors. The Houston Astros edged the Los Angeles Angels 3-2 in a tight, low-scoring game. Christian Vazquez provided the difference with a home run for Houston. On the bases, the Angels' Adam Frazier and Zach Neto each stole a bag, but it wasn't enough to overcome Houston's pitching. Bennett Sousa worked 1.1 scoreless innings with a strikeout to pick up the win, and closer Josh Hader shut the door with a save. Isaac Paredes, Jose Altuve, LaMonte Wade Jr., and Yordan Alvarez all had hits for the Astros, while Los Angeles got production from Zach Neto, Mike Trout, Denzer Guzman, and Josh Lowe. Houston's pitching staff, anchored by Sousa and Hader, allowed just 2 runs across the game to hold off a scrappy Angels lineup that never found the big blow it needed. Final, Astros 3, Angels 2. The Los Angeles Dodgers outslugged the Colorado Rockies 6-4 in a power-pack contest at altitude. Mookie Betts went 3 for 5 with 2 RBI and a home run for Los Angeles, and Enrique Hernandez also went deep for the Dodgers. Colorado countered with Mickey Moniak, who matched Betts' line almost identically, going 3 for 5 with 2 RBI and a home run of his own. Kyle Hurt worked a scoreless inning to pick up the win in relief, and Tanner Scott closed it out with a save. Los Angeles also got hits from Ben Rortvedt, Kyle Tucker, Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez, and Andy Pages, while Colorado's Adale Amador, Jake McCarthy, Cole Carrick, T.J. Rumfield, and Connor Norby all reached base. It was a slugfest that ultimately came down to Los Angeles' deeper lineup carrying the day. Final score, Dodgers 6, Rockies 4. Kalen Culpepper, Minnesota Twins extended his hitting streak to 7 straight games with a 3 for 4 day, and Luis Ariz Philadelphia Phillies matched him at 7 straight games, backing it up with a home run. On the flip side, 2 notable streaks came to an end in Philadelphia. Bryson Stott's 10-game hitting streak and Alec Boehm's 8-game hitting streak both snapped, even as the Phillies picked up the win. Rafael Flores Jr. Pirates put together the fantasy line of the day with a 2-homer game against Detroit, a must-add if he's still available anywhere. Joshua Baez Cardinals offered a burst of speed with a 2-steal game, valuable for any category league needing steals. Kalen Culpepper Twins went 3 for 4. Javier Sonoja Marlins went 3 for 3 with a homer and an RBI, and Willie Adams Giants added a 3 for 4 night of his own. All 5 are worth a look on the waiver wire this week. That's a wrap on today's action around the majors. Hit subscribe so you never miss a recap.